Every single choice we make in life has a consequence. And so everything that Chloe is presented with, she's going to then be presented with choices. And that has some value, and I think it makes it interesting for the players because there is always going to be that element of surprise. And so Chloe is, if you'll pardon the pun, more uncharted territory.
Uncharted is pulp, action-adventure, exotic settings.
Centered around this cast of characters of thieves and hustlers and treasure hunters.
You have a main character, Nathan Drake, who is a treasure hunter, and he goes throughout the game seeking different major artifacts that he thinks are worth a lot of money.
Nathan Drake has the sense of humor, doesn't take himself too seriously, but, you know, is definitely someone who abides by a certain set of morals and values and wants to do the right thing. He's a good guy.
We always called him the reluctant hero.
Okay, you tried, but it's over. He can't go any further.
We can't just leave him here to die.
He is as good as dead already, and so are we if we don't go now.
Then go.
Yeah, nobody's stopping you.
Chloe's role with Nathan, she first sort of pops up as his ex-girlfriend, that they're sort of working together, but she's sort of playing both sides.
She's the getaway driver, she's a sidekick, she's a character that, you know, we're never really sure where she stood. She's shifty, and that's kind of been most of her introduction throughout the series up until now.
I think Chloe, in a way, is similar with Nathan. They both march to the beat of their own drum. They're renegades. They don't have to comply with the standard and usual rules in society. Chloe's moral compass is a little more off than Nathan's.
The unknown, I think, is what draws everyone to Chloe. From a player standpoint, you don't know if the character you're playing is good.
She's kind of in it for herself and is gonna do what's best for her, not necessarily play the hero. She's really got a little bit more of an edge to her, a little bit more of a rogue, I think.
So, it's been a long, strange trip, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. You know, you should play the hero more often. Suits you.
So in Lost Legacy, you're stepping into Chloe's shoes, and you have a new sidekick, and in this case, it's Nadine, who was in a previous game, and there's no argument about whether she was good or bad. She was bad, and there's a lot of tense interaction between those two characters because they don't really see eye to eye.
I think because Chloe is so unpredictable, she's untethered. She's unlike Nadine. She hasn't trained. She doesn't have these sort of really strong skill sets. She just is highly intuitive, and she manages to sort of improvise. But I think what's interesting throughout the game is we see the value in partnering with someone who can be a good foil, who actually does have skill and technique and discipline, so that they can bounce ideas off each other and come up with a slightly more mature plan than Chloe's highly improvised one.
In all these many temples, only one conceals the secret path to Shambhala. And that path shall only be revealed to the pilgrim who bears the golden passport.
I guess there was an expectation that you couldn't do an Uncharted game without Nathan Drake, that was so tied to the franchise. But they're like, oh, I actually really like her. I really like this dynamic and these characters, and they come out with more appreciation for them than they ever thought they were going to.
Like, Chloe's perspective on Uncharted is much different than Nathan Drake's. It's a little edgier, it's grittier, it's grounded. It's a more honest perspective. It's a perspective that we all can relate to.
I think the decision for this Uncharted to have two female leads is a significant one. This is one of, I think, the first major AAA games that has made this massive shift.
I mean, I think it's nice to see two women of color leading a game, and it's not necessarily like trumpeted as a like, we're doing this for the diversity points, but it's seamless. Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, we're just kind of shoehorning these characters in. They're characters who've played instrumental roles throughout the story, throughout the preceding games, and it just seems like a very natural fit. This is very much an Uncharted game. It's every bit as fun and suspenseful and like high stakes as anything with Nathan.
I think the most interesting question is, will Chloe live long enough as the hero to become the villain? Will she become so arrogant that she becomes the villain?
I think Chloe is a hero, but there's shades of gray to her. But I think that is what makes her more relatable and identifiable, and perhaps even more so than Nathan.
You know, what does it mean, really, to be a hero? And I think we explore that now with Chloe, and I'll be interested to see what happens to her. And I don't expect it's going to be smooth sailing either.